Vincenzo's Go Crypto Investing this July the 20th, 2025 morning cryptocurrency update. And we have, like we said the other day, we purchased some DGB as we feel DGB is primed and ready to go. And we could have a macro time frame, somewhat cup and handle here. We were in that consolidation a long time ago. We traded through that. We don't need to see that anymore. We can get that out of there. But something that I'm watching out for here is what could be, and I did purchase, bell notification, comment down below, like the channel and share. And you can see some of the accumulation. We currently have 1,063,281 AMP at a current value of $4,550. It's up 11% in the last week. I think AMP is about to blow up. And we do have a smidgen under $1,000 or a smidgen under 92,480 or 100,000 DGB. It's not a big position in DGB, but I feel like there's very nice potential here of maybe a 1 to 3x move in the next couple of weeks. As we can see here, where we had our first run up and a bottom in April of 2024, followed by the rounding bottom, which forms the cup, and then a return rally with Donald Trump to the neckline, which would be the 0.2319. And since then, you've had a down and sideways consolidation, and we've seen this a lot in the gold market. That's a cup and handle, right? It's a beautiful cup and handle, and this would be your handle right here, where it is the resistance off of the secondary pump on the neckline of the cup, and then this is your bullish consolidation that when it breaks out, and we followed this similar in gold, when gold, had its cup and handle and finally broke out. And when it did, it broke out to a tune of 100% over the next year. And for gold, that's a massive move. You can see where that handle is. You can tighten that up and get right on it, right? And get right in there and not look so much at the wicks and get right in there. There's your handle minus the wicks. And the way you would do a cup and handle breakout would be from the bottom of the cup. See that? From the round, oh, come on. Got so much stuff on here now. From the rounding bottom of the potential cup to the neckline, which is the double top, add this horizontal neckline in blue, to the point of a breakout, right? And see that? Look at where the breakout brings you, all the way up here to the point of a breakout. And we need to make these a refreshing color to look at. There's your point of the breakout, all the way up there. And just from the breakout is a 200. That's a 2.5 to 3x move on the breakout. That's on the breakout. You understand what I'm talking about? Not from the point of where you're at. People that bought up here playing the breakout and they didn't buy all the way up, and then they've been waiting again in a secondary correction. This is telling you that we're about to have the point of a breakout. And the reason it can blow up that fast is look at your volume. And let's make this, I don't know where's the last time let's bring it out even more. Look at it's even more defined. Look at this big gap in volume, right? Big gap, big gap. From here, about where you're at now, about to break through at resistance, all the way up here to the 0.041. There's very little volume in there, so the price can pump from just where the price is at now. If you see where the current price is down here at 0.0098 about, you break above this 0.0118, you have nothing in the way for a 236% move. And you can see twice. Look how quick you blew up from there, twice. But you got the overhead manipulated rejection because it's got to fulfill the pattern in order to wait out some of the people that jumped in here in the retail trying to make the quick money when they see it blow up. Oops, that's not our industry exclusive purchasing tool. And I'm trying to emphasize this today. When they tried, they didn't buy down here or buy down here, but most of the retail bought in right here, playing the breakout, and then it flips on them and goes down 60, 70% because the market manipulators, the way these things work, they know the retail that tried to FOMO and jump in on the inevitable move, when it makes this correction for 5 months, they're going to sell out at some point. Then you have the manipulated spike again to come right back to upper resistance of this cup and handle where you got the cup coming up, the rounding bottom at the bottom of the cup, forming the completion of the cup, and then the handle. And then they know the people with these patterns will FOMO in here again. Most of the same people that did it here, that sold out down here, did it again a few months later here because, damn it, they weren't going to miss it again after they almost missed it this time, then misplayed it and sold. They're not going to do it again. Then it has that long down and sideways drawn out handle with the volume, if you notice, on this consolidation. So you had a down and sideways consolidation with falling volume after a pump. All that is textbook bullishness. Then what you should see at the bottom of this handle is the volume start to pick up, the price start to appreciate, you start taking out some major resistance levels, which you are, and then you have a massive spike in volume, and then you have the breakout to the cup and handle resistance at 0.022 and then the breakout, right? And it's a textbook manipulation to get these people to get drawn out again. And I do believe we're going to have a forceful pump in the DGB over the next couple of weeks. And I think it's going to be on the order of 1 to 3x from where you're at now at minimum. So a 1 to 3x move from current price. 1x brings you up here near this resistance, this triple top resistance it would be. A 2x return breaks that and gets you up here into Freeland. And that's why I think if you break the 1x, you go to 3x because that brings you up at 333%. And no, it's not because I like the devil's numbers. It's just the way the numbers work in the stock market. It brings you up to your major upper resistance, right? So I am playing that. AMP, I'm also, to me, it looks like she's ready to go. I know we've been following this for nearly 3/4 of a year now for the big breakout, and we've attempted to do it twice. I think you can see we're building. We've done what we should if we go into the daily time frame. You can see we're now on our next leg of the pump. We came up and at first attacked the 50-day moving average, then used the 100 as resistance and the 50 as support. Then we said the next move would be you would break up to the 200-day as resistance and the 100 as support. And that's what it's done the last 2 days this weekend. Now, like we talked about yesterday on this brief consolidation when it was down here, your next move is you're going to break the 200 and you're going to fly up to this 0.00475 and use that as brief resistance and use the 200 to tap it as support. And then you're going to make your big first initial breakout past the moving averages. And your first breakout is going to come to this regional swing high of 0.0579, which from the point of the current move, that's a 35.91% instant move as soon as you break this 200-day moving average and complete this 3-step process to confirm this. Then you notice you have, just like all these other coins, a massive double bottom stemming from last year, but a regional short-term double bottom right here. And all of these coins have done this, and all of these coins that have this same look have ultimately come all the way up here in their formation. And I think AMP is coming up at least to this level. And from the point where we're at now, it's an 80% move, but I believe that it's more than likely going to come up between the 0.01019 and this upper resistance at the 0.025. So that's a 1 to 4x move from the current price, right? And I think it's imminent. We're up 35% over the last 14 days. We've held major support on the bottom of the pattern formation that we looked at when we nipped down a few weeks ago, just like we did there, and back there, and we said it needs to hold, and it did. And that's why we accumulated another 650,000 AMP as we've been buying on the way down. We made our final accumulation in this area, right? After we made our previous accumulation down here. Did we get the bottom down here? No, we did not. Did we hit the bottom over here when we accumulated back in April and May? No. But when we accumulated in April and May, we accumulated on support. We accumulated up in here and in here, right? Not on that wick, but in the two accumulations. And then we let it run up. And then it came all the way back down, and then we accumulated 2 more times off the bounce, right? So we're never going to get the bottom, but we're looking to accumulate the support zones where after it confirms the support before the move, right? And that's what we're doing now, and I think AMP's about to blow up. And those are my 2 big jabroni killer alerts that I'm in right now. $4,500 or 1 million coins in one, and just under 100,000 DGB. The XRP price is trying to prime up to go to its all-time high. And people think it's hit an all-time high at 376. That's not true. Coinbase, its all-time high from 2017 is 385. And you can just go to Coinbase and go on their exchange and look at XRP, and you can see where it hit 385. So if you break this on this consolidation on your next move, you would break the all-time high from 6.5 years ago, even though on most charts it doesn't show it because they're not using the Coinbase chart because they weren't around in 2017 with the Coinbase, right? See that? This one came on this one was a high of 338, and this was USD, right? Not on the Coinbase exchange, but on the Coinbase exchange is what most people that are talking about all-time highs, they're using just the ones on these, but Coinbase does have a 385, and that is the official all-time high. Besides some erroneous sites that had $4 back at the same time because there was very little trading that went on. But you can see it's accumulating in this major area. You have the 303 major underneath support that you flipped. On any kind of consolidation, that's your major support. You're looking to flip the 376 to support and use the old all-time high of 385 as resistance. Any kind of major correction, the 257 is your major short-term support now. You can see how quick the moving averages are flying up, the 50, the 100, and the 200, right? The 200 is always going to move slower because the 50 is only using the last 50-day running mean to move the moving averages. But you can see we're obviously bullish. And this week we're going to see if we can't take out the 376 and move even higher as we have a $4 to $7 target in 2026, right? At some point, there will be another bear market in crypto, and that's where things will get interesting because of all the institutions and corporations that have turned their stocks into debt to buy Bitcoin, right? And a lot of them have done it, the vast majority, 90+% of them have done it near 100,000 Bitcoin, not like MicroStrategy that started at 20,000, right? It's a major difference. So that's what we're looking at on any kind of short-term correction. $3.03 is major lower support. The bearish or bullish short to medium-term support level is 255. If it breaks this 255, 257 to the downside, that's when you're short to medium-term bearish again. As long as you're above that, you're bullish. And as long as you're above 303, you're super bullish, right? So that's what we're looking at there in the XRP. And the ATH and the XLM is the same thing. Something that I'm watching, though, is XLM form this short-term double top. See this? You can see it in the hour time frame. Maybe this was just a consolidation and we're going to blow back to this double top. And this was just a brief consolidation, but then we're going to come up here and it's going to mean nothing. Or the short-term double top could signify a short-term pattern change, something that maybe that's what XRP is going to do right now. It's going to form the same double top and then it's going to come down and show that look. Right? Just like you're seeing here with XLM, and now XLM starting to try to make a charge back to the upside. So we're going to pay attention. Your initial major upper resistance is 55 cents. Your major underneath support is the 36 cents, and the top part is blue support resistance box. And obviously your moving averages are trending up very quickly as you have the 50 now has matched up beautifully with the bottom part of that green box. The 100-day is just below that, and the 200-day is just below the 100-day. The volume is falling. The price is up and sideways consolidation. Unlike DGB and AMP, you can see an up and sideways consolidation with a falling volume. That is usually a bearish reflection of a momentum being lost in a pattern turnaround and a short-term correction to the downside. But it's crypto, so that means it doesn't have to happen that way. So your major underneath support is 36 cents. Your major overhead resistance is 55 cents. And if you break the 55 cents, 80 cents is your next upper target on a breakout. And any kind of short-term correction to be short to medium-term bearish again is if you break that 36 cents to the downside. Like the channel, subscribe. We'll give you another update here a little bit later. Peace and love. Oh, not peace and love. I had Jabroni Killers ask me a couple of coins, and I forgot what they were. So we'll go into the community. Relaxing Sound. He's not a member. Jabroni Killer. VELO, Xeon, Flare. We'll try to get. AMP. I just talked about that. Where are my Jabroni Killer members? View all. They were yesterday. I don't know what that was. Great update. Digibyte is going to melt faces again. I agree with you. That's why I bought some of that. Where were my Jabroni Killer members that asked me stuff? Can you check SHIBA? Thanks. Yes, I can. XRP Ripper, Jabroni Killer member. And could you look at Link and VELO, please? So 2 Jabroni Killer members, Link, VELO, and Shiba Inu. Chainlink and VELO. Is VELO on this one? I thought VELO was on this one. VELO, my beautiful Jabroni Killer members, you can see VELO. You do know we made that bold call on VELO, and now it's actually come up considerably from the bottom. When we were up here, when we got brought this, people were telling me this was super bullish, but the pattern was bearish, and it broke down from where we talked about up there, 78%. Now it's on the upswing, and you can see the last time we talked about it, it was sitting on the 50-day moving average trying to break it. You can see you've just had a bullish cross where the 50 has got above the 100. We're about to have a golden bullish cross where the 50 gets above the 200. The price is coming up to major upper resistance, the old pattern formation breakout in VELO. So what you want to see now to get very bullish and to get up to this 0.080 is you want to see it storm through this resistance and get on the top side of what used to be this pattern and use that top side, and that can force you to the upside. But right now, your first major upper resistance is the 0.025 or the old support and resistance level of this pattern. Obviously, to the downside, your initial support is the current swing low, but the pattern that you're attempting to break out, that you attempted to break down out of right here, and you're attempting to break back into, is right there, which was a rising channel, which is an up and sideways, or a rising symmetrical triangle, where it's an up and sideways tightening formation where you have uptrending upper resistance and uptrending lower support, and it forms a duck's beak at the end. And those are technically bearish patterns, and they 6.5 to 10 out of 10 times they break to the downside, and the technical target would be to the bottom of the pattern. And you can see we did make that ferocious move down, a move that nobody's seen back during the end of the last Donald Trump pump on the election cycle news. We called it bearish. Nobody else did, and it came down. So now you're trying to re-break the 0.025290 to get bullish. But if you get rejected by that, obviously your major support now on the downside is the moving averages in the daily time frame. If we go to Shiba Inu, is over here in my Robinhood one. We'll go to Shiba Inu, and you can see that's up 4%. And you can see this is another thing with DGB. And look how long it's been since we looked at this. The moving averages have made the swing. We're about to have a bullish cross. You can see this is another one just like SHIBA, just like AMP and so many of the other ones that have done it. There's your double bottom locally. We're almost up to the swing resistance. And now the next move in Shiba Inu, if it follows these other ones, should be up here to its upper resistance at 0.00002352. That should be the next move. And if it is and follows through, it could have a brief correction, 15%, and tap that before it goes. But on its next move, it should be 53% from its current area. And that would be just above this major green bottom part of this major green support and resistance box that you can see has been support and resistance unlocked for quite some time. And we're just going to move that into the future because the present has become the recent past. And we need to move that. And then we're going to lock it again. And those would be your two major resistance levels on the next breakup to the upside. The 0.000 2013 to point a bunch of zeros 3047, this green support and resistance box. And from the current price, the initial breakout, like we said, would be 33% up to potentially as high as a 1x move, right? In the Shiba Inu. And any kind of correction to the downside, your major support is this red support and resistance box, and then we're going to go ahead and lock it. Why would it come off at locked? That starts down here where you can see you got that double bottom. That should have been my signal to buy. You got that double bottom support on it down there at point a bunch of 0.6969, and the upper part of this box is up here where you just broke out of at point a bunch of zeros 1318, and that top part is your major support level, right, locally. Like the channel, subscribe. I'll continue to try to get to all the comments that I have in here. Like the channel. Peace and love. Direct side, bro. Jay.